So we're going to have a little bit of an update now on, you guys remember the Parkland shooting that happened, I think it was, back in 2018? Yeah, February 14th, 2018. So over a year ago now. The deputy, there was a lot of people that were claiming that he failed to go in. He even said that he waited out on the side. People were claiming that he didn't go in. It was causing other people to die. He could have gone through and actually gone in and shot the gunman, possibly saving lives. There were a lot of questions asked regarding that. His name was Scott Peterson. So the deputy who failed to confront Parkland shooter is arrested for inaction. Former Brown County Deputy Scott Peterson has been arrested over his failure to do anything to stop the Parkland gunman during the February 14, 2018 attack. On March 15, 2018, Breitbart News reported on surveillance video that allegedly shows the Petersons standing outside Building 12 while the attack occurred. Now, then Brownie County Sheriff Scott Israel told ABC News the video shows Peterson arriving at the west side of Building 12, take the position, but never going in. 17 innocents lost their lives during the attack. On June 4th, 2018, Breitbart News reported Peterson telling CBS News that he would enter the building in a heartbeat if given the chance to do it again. WPLG reports that Peterson is now under arrest. NBC News investigative top reporter Tom Winters reports that the Florida Department of Law Enforcement has charged former Brownie County Sheriff's Department Scott Peterson, age 56, with 7 counts of neglect of a child, 3 counts of culpable negligence, and 1 count of perjury. There were reports that he had lied under oath. So deputy who stayed outside during Parkland school shooting faces criminal charges. The former Sheriff's Department was arrested Tuesday in connection with the 2018 mass shooting that the majority stoned Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, the latest in a series of actions to be hold police accountable for their response to an attack that left 17 people dead. Yeah, I would agree, actually, Eric. Scott Peterson, a former Broadback County Sheriff's Department deputy who was the security officer assigned to the high school, faces 11 charges of neglect of a child, culpable neglect, and perjury as a result of an investigation by the Florida Department and law enforcement, the authorities said. He was taken into custody and would be booked into the Brownie County Jail on a $102,000 bond. The FDLE investigation shows former Deputy Peterson did absolutely nothing to mitigate the MSD, or the shooting, would that be, the majority Stone Douglas shooting, yeah, that killed 17 children, teachers and staff and injured 17 others. The department's commissioner, Rick Swirling, said in a statement, there can be no excuse for this complete inaction and no question that these inaction cost lives. Officers determined that Mr. Peterson as well as Sergeant Brian Miller neglected their duties and they were both terminated on Tuesday. Mr. Peterson was taken into custody after administration discipline hearing. The criminal charges were an unusual instance of law enforcement officers being held criminally liable for failing to protect the public, which is a good thing, I would say. Civilian lawsuits have become part of the course following mass shootings in the United States. Families of the victims and survivors themselves use litigation to hold institutions, both public and private, responsible for failing to keep people safe, as well as to push for policy change or to collect compensation for emotional, physical trauma or death. Those lawsuits have also taken aim at the companies that manufacture guns and firearm components, like bomb stocks. But experts say the criminal charging a law enforcement officer for allegedly being neglect in this response to a mass shooting is new ground. I would say it's probably right though. If he did not, the police literally have to protect and serve written on the side of their car. If they do not do that, if they are not protecting or serving the public, then yeah, if there's a mass shooting and you fail to go in, I would say you deserve to be held liable or criminally liable. You could have stopped that and you didn't. To me, that is definitely something that, yeah, it's definitely bad. So, yeah. This is the first time I've absolutely seen anybody charged like this. It's Clint Van Ziltz, a former profiler with the FBI and an expert on mass shootings. I think every police officer, sheriff, and FBI agent understands you have to go with the threat and stop it, that we no longer wait for SWAT or set up perimeters. I don't know. I don't know. Personally, I would have gone in. If I heard gunshots, or if I knew there was an active shooter shooting people, even if I was a civilian, if I had a firearm, I would have gone in. I don't care if I had died in the process. I would have bloody gone in and stopped the shooter. But that's me, I suppose. The sweeping 15-month investigation includes interviews with 184 witnesses, along with the reviews of video surveillance, to piece together what officials acknowledge was slow and chaotic law enforcement response. So it just keeps going and going and going. Look, I don't know, guys. I support this. I really, really do. I think at the end of the day, he failed to go through and do any action. He's supposed to be there to protect and serve. He didn't. I really don't have a problem with him being charged over this. I don't know, guys. Am I being too harsh? Do you guys agree? What do you guys reckon? Do you reckon he should be charged? Do you think at the end of the day that he did fail to act? Or do you think at the end of the day that he should have waited for SWAT? And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are. In chat. If I was armed, I would have went in, even if it meant being killed. At least I would die knowing what I did I could. Exactly. Even if you die in the process, even if, like, that's bullets that he is firing at you instead of someone else. That is possibly some young kid, some young family, whatever it may be, that is going to survive. Because that's one less person he can shoot at. So, yeah. The slowing, the killing, or taking him out before too much civilian... that something or rather... I'm not going to say that word. Deserve, because they're already demonetized as it is. Deserves to be put in general population. Police training in the US. They are not trying to try their best to take the government down. No waiting for SWAT, because there is a way better chance of slowing the killings or taking him out before too many civilian casualties. Yeah, that's what I would have thought. I would have thought that... I don't know how he's going to go in Gen Pop. Holy shit. But yeah, police training in the US, they are trying to try their best to take the government down. I don't think he did that. That's the training at the WV State Police Academy. Okay, cool. At least someone got held accountable for the Parkland shooting. Well, yeah. If I had anything to say, the poor girl, the one to wins. Yeah, okay, that's a previous story. Yeah, at the end of the day, guys, I don't know. I have a problem with him not acting on this. Like I say, it's been a little bit of cuck. It's just, I don't want to... Yeah, and he said he heard the shots. He knew what was going on inside. You know, he said I think he said he didn't do it because it was... I don't know, he was scared or something? I don't know, I can't remember what he said now. It's 15 months ago. God, the news travels so fast, doesn't it? But at the end of the day, yeah, I would say, look, he deserves it. He really does. He failed to protect and serve. That is literally your job. So, yeah. Like, yeah, has anybody ever seen the movie, I think it's 44 Minutes, where I'm going to show you this, guys, this clip. It's where I think it's the Los Angeles bank shooting. So this is probably a little bit of a dramatization about what happened, but to give you an idea, this is based on true stories. Alright, so two guys basically go into a bank and to rob it. The problem is that back in the day, this is back in the 70s, I think it was, they've gone through and the police only had pistols and stuff like that. They didn't have the assault weapons or anything that they do now. But these guys did. So it was very much a case of the cops were outnumbered, right? So they go in, they rob this bank, they take the money, and obviously the cops then turn up to confront the bank guards, right? Now there's a reason why I'm showing you guys this, so bear with me. Sorry to feel I was just muted. So the reason why I'm showing you this, right? This is based on true events, mid-90s. Was it? Was it only in the 90s? Oh, okay. Jeez, things change. But this is the incidents where I'm talking about, right? These are cops that are going up against guys with frigging AKs. And you actually see in here, the cops only have handguns. That is all they had. They had handguns against guys with AKs for days, rounds of ammunitions, thousands of rounds or whatever it was of ammunition, plus they also had body armor on. So the cops were outnumbered, outgunned. Well, they weren't outnumbered, but they're definitely outgunned, right? You'd literally see them just firing bullets everywhere. Bullets are going through the cop cars, just wrecking everything, right? Firing hundreds of rounds. The cops had no choice. They had nothing. All they had was handguns. Yeah, they had body armor, yeah. Yet it's funny because these cops were still returning fire. These cops were still taking on the gunmen. Now, like I say, this is probably a little bit of a dramatization, a little bit of what happened. I'm expecting Hollywood's, beefed it up a little bit, but from what I understand from the situation, my brother was telling me about this because he was the one that originally... If you guys haven't seen this movie, go and check it out. It's a really good movie. But at the end of the day, it didn't take them an hour at all. It took them hour and a half. Yeah, so TL seems to know a bit about this, so let's read what he just said. Didn't take them an hour and a half to kill the second gunman. He actually ended up shooting himself. Yeah. So like I say, there's a little bit of creativeness with the movie. Obviously, did some research into the real event. But what I wanted to highlight in this, right? The cops had nothing more than handguns.
Aim for the head.
Right? And all the cops had were handguns, with these guys firing hundreds of rounds. Completely outgunned. But yet you don't see the cops standing outside saying, yeah, we're not going to engage this guy. What did the cops do when the guy walked out? Started opening fire. Started taking him on. What did the Parkland shooting police officer do? He waited outside. That's the difference between the cops back then and some of the cops now. Now look, hashtag not all. Yeah. Yeah, or the documentary, yeah. What's the documentary called? Do you know, TL? I forgot what the documentary is called. Yeah, they had so many, yeah. They had literally hundreds of rounds. Obviously, and from what I understand about this situation, TL will probably be able to correct me on this if I'm wrong, but this is actually the thing that changed the gun laws regarding what the police carry. because of this situation, police were allowed to then start carrying heavier weapons. In this actual movie, they actually go through and they actually go into a gun shop and buy the firearms to go through and so they can actually take on the where is it? I think it's called North Hollywood Shootout. Yeah, I think it's called that too, actually. That sounds familiar. I think that's the one I watched. But yeah, the cops in the ended up getting some automatic weapons themselves. And yeah, taking out the gunman, well, taking out one of them, and I think the second one, like he said, shot himself. But that's not that. The reason why I'm showing you this is not because it's a really good movie to watch, but because of the fact that compare the cops in this situation who are literally going through and are shooting at a guy, taking on a gunman head on, literally chasing these gunmen. When the gunmen flee, right, they get in the car and drive away, in this movie anyway, the cops continue to chase them. They don't sit there and go, well, you know, these guys have got guns and I don't really feel like doing it. Oh, cool. No worries, yeah. But like I say, yeah, so, like I say, the cops actually engaged this shooter. They went after this shooter. And compare that to this guy who literally sat outside and waited. Yeah, he shoots himself in the foot, then he shoots himself. I think that's actually in the movie, isn't it? But yeah, anyway. But like I say, yeah, I think it's actually in this. But anyway. Like I say, look, there's probably some creative differences taken when it comes to this. So I'm not expecting this movie to be based on... It's based on real events, but it's not completely factual because it'd probably be a boring movie. But at the end of the day, compare the cops in this shootout compared to the cops in the Parkland shooting that sat outside, that didn't engage the target, that just sat there and let people die. That's the difference between some cops. Now, hashtag not all cops these days are like the Parkland shooter or the Parkland police officer, obviously. But just to give you an idea of the difference between some of the cops. Some cops will actually engage, others will sit back. I have no problem with him being charged over this whole situation. I really, really don't. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below.